When you got cooking on your mind and you got nothing but time now, baby, don't worry, toss out that old baloney. Now you're working overtime, hero. What you got cooking? He's a hell of a guy, yeah. Chris Foster's alright. The recipe's a delight, yeah. When you got cooking on your mind and you got nothing but time now, baby, don't worry, toss out that old baloney. Now you're working overtime, hero. What you got cooking? Yeah.
Welcome to What You Got Cooking. I'm Josh Witvoet.
I'm Chris Foster, and we're coming at you from the Trinity Lutheran School kitchen, and we got some great stuff today, Josh.
Oh, magnificent.
I don't have to tell you though, do I?
No, you don't have to tell me.
Well, why don't you start? Let's just get right into it, Josh. What you got cooking, pal?
Well, I'm going to be making up some like a basic sort of pasta, and we're going to be putting that all together with a little bit of what you're making.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get into that. So, all right, well, I'm going to start off with a French onion soup. It's kind of got a different approach to it rather than just basic onions and the beef base. So, Josh, why don't you start telling what you got going there?
Well, first off, I got some regular bread flour, and I got some semolina.
Semolina.
Combined in the bowl right here. I'm going to do about a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon of run-of-the-mill vegetable oil, or you can do olive oil if you like. Just put it in a little pit right there.
Can I salt that puppy?
You can. Give me a little pinch of salt there. And we're going to do 2 eggs also. Thank you much. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start caramelizing my onions. And so basically, I just got a regular slice on onions so I can get nice basically half peels of it. And what you want to do is you want to caramelize these onions until they're golden brown, because that's where all the flavor is at. A lot of people just start the onions in there and then throw in the beef, which is a big mistake because you're losing out on all that flavor. And then to speed things along, I just do a little bit of regular old sugar, and then we'll just plop that down. Fire the burner up. You don't want to keep you want to keep the heat relatively low because you don't want to burn your onions. You burn your onions, you ruin the soup.
Oh, you don't want burnt. You don't want burnt anything in your food.
No. What's that one? Too many hands in the pot makes it bad or something like that, right? I don't know.
Yeah, there's something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm going to turn this down, get an acceptable little temperature. And while you continue to do that, I'm going to grab the chicken out from the refrigerator.
Well, I'm just mixing up the ingredients here, making up the basic pasta dough. And, got the chicken. Yeah,
here's Roderick. I named him Roderick. Roderick.
Once again, we want to talk about sanitation.
Oh, let's talk about sanitation. First of all, as soon as I took this out of the package, I rinsed everything. And you want to wash your hands every time you touch this. So I'm going to be washing my hands constantly. So, all right, so we got the whole chicken here, and I want to break this down into smaller pieces because we're going to actually make 2 dishes using this bird, and we're going to make chicken stock. So basically what you want to do then is you want to get yourself a whole bird, and it's actually cheaper to get a whole bird and break it down yourself, and the food's much better. So you want to start on the back and get rid of the backbone, and that's kind of the base of your stock. You can hear that crunching. Nothing beats that crunching. Let's get this.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you really want to watch your onions. They burn, you burn, basically, because you waste all that time then. All right, so let's finish off this chicken. And, oh man, this stock, a lot of people think that chicken broth and chicken bouillon is the same thing, but it's not even close.
Oh,
the
no.
flavor
If you're making it fresh, anything fresh is going to taste 100 times better than anything store-bought or, pre-made.
Yeah, with the broth, they actually, season it up with herbs and all that, and so you're really taking away from the natural flavor of the chicken. So I like to make my own chicken stock. And to do that, you know, obviously you can't eat any of this unless I mean, there's a little bit of meat, but for the most part, it's just kind of expendable. So let's plop our chicken back in our bowl and get rid of his little kidney. And right here, I have prepared just a regular stock pot filled with water. And then what you want to do is you want to put the pieces of chicken in there that you're not going to be using, and then you bring it to a boil, and you got chicken stock. And then, you know, you add in some other things which I'll talk about in a second. So let's set that aside for a minute. How's that pasta coming, pal?
We're getting there.
All right. Okay. So now I want to finish butchering out my chicken, and I want to get rid of the wings. I'm not going to be using the wings today. And so basically you just want to look for the joint, which is right there. And it's a real easy cut. If you can find the joint, there it is. And I plop them right in there. Usually you can save them and make some buffalo wings if you butcher out chickens a lot, which I don't really tend to do. You know, I don't accumulate wings. I just make stock with them. So we'll plop these in the pot, and it gives it a nice flavor. Flip this back over, and let's take this leg and thigh. Oh, that's a meaty. This is a meaty.
Oh, it's a great looking bird right there.
The nice thing about these, there's no steroids. So basically right here, let's just trim this up and throw the fat in there. And since we're not really too worried about the appearance of the stock, we'll put the skin in. Usually when you're making like stock in a restaurant, you want to avoid putting fat in there because then you get the grease on top. And it's just kind of, you know, unappetizing, I suppose.
Let's see, we're going to need a little bit more water in here.
You need a little water?
Yeah, you got
I
some
got a cup of water for you.
on the side. Beautiful, beautiful.
And, just remember, you can always put it in, but you can't take it out.
Oh, can't take it out.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll get the chicken stock started. Right here, I got, in this orange bowl, I got a couple sprigs of thyme. And you can put in any other herbs like oregano, a bay leaf, some peppercorns, but I'm just doing real simple. And then I got some pieces of onion, a couple sticks of celery cut up, and some carrots. And we'll just go ahead and put that in there. And like I said, I'm just kind of making this a speedy version of stock. Usually what you would do is you would bring the chicken pieces to a boil, and that would let all the kind of the impurities in the chicken rise to the top, and then you scoop it out, and then you put in the vegetables. But since we're not too worried about the appearance, I just start everything. So we'll fire it up, and you bring it up to a boil, and then you simmer it for a little bit until your water is, it should be flavored like chicken then. And then you go ahead and strain it out.
Flavored like chicken, huh?
Flavored like chicken. What was wrong with that?
That was just, you know, I'm complimenting you on a nice alternative to using bouillon or just regular chicken broth.
I actually, one of the recipes for the soup, actually, we're going to be using Cuba bouillon and broth because I can't, beef bones are kind of hard to come by.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I'll just leave that alone for a little bit. Oh, our friend Roderick's acting up. There it is. Okay, and so now you're left with the breast, and we'll put that aside with the thighs and legs until a little bit later, which then we'll use for our main meals.
All right.
We'll put this in this fridge. You got that pasta machine there.
Oh, yeah.
And you know you gotta have one of those obviously if you're making your own pasta. But you can pick those up at any kind of home center, like let's say Linens and Things, Bed Bath and Beyond, and you can order them online, and they're relatively cheap, $30 to $40 for a decent model.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we take a break, and when we come back, I'll finish off my soup because the caramelized onions are going to take a while, and you got to keep
roll out
eating
some pasta.
We'll roll out some pasta.
All
Rolling
right.
out, Phil.
Rolling it out.
All right.
See you after the break.
What you got cooking? Yeah. what you got cooking? Yeah.
And we're back. Chris, what you got in your hands?
I got the ideal color of onion, which looks like a caramel color.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
And so now it's time to make the soup real tasty. So you got your onions in this pot, and what's the trick to making them real dark actually is you kind of see there's a caramel coating around the side because of the sugar. Just kind of swirl your onions around to pick that up. So now I got some creamed garlic.
Creamed garlic.
Creamed garlic. I like a lot of garlic. Let's
I don't think everybody here likes a good
I think
amount.
everybody knows. And I got some sherry here, which is kind of red wine. Just a little bit of that, and gives it just a wonderful flavor. How about you, Josh? What do you got going?
Well, I got the finished dough product here. We're gonna roll it through a little pasta machine we got, and
We're gonna have to tag team that one.
I don't think yet. Maybe when we get a little bit thinner. Maybe you proved me wrong here.
See, this is what your dough is gonna look like, and that's why when you're rolling it through the first setting on your pasta machine, you want to fold it over then, and that kind of builds up the gluten in the noodles, and you fold it over. That's your
All right.
mess.
And you're gonna want to, as it smooths out, as you can see, it's sort of smooth right now. Where you're gonna want to go up descending sequences, and it makes it come out a little bit nicer and thinner to make it look like real pasta.
Smell this, pal.
Oh, it smells beautiful.
So you want to, ooh, man, you want to do this. You want to simmer it. Little bubbles on the side. You don't want to boil because obviously you don't want all that sherry to evaporate. You just kind of want to slow simmer it to get the alcohol content out, and until you're able to smell the garlic. And so that's pretty much just about ready. And then basically what I got here is I got some beef broth, and I also put a cube of beef bouillon in. And I mean, it does the trick, but if you can get your hands on real beef stock or some beef bones, it's the same thing as a chicken stock, but it's beef broth. But that is actually ideal.
But as we talked about, beef bones and whatnot, a little bit harder to come by.
What's that?
As we talked about earlier, the beef bones is a little bit harder to come by.
Maybe you can go up to a butcher shop and ask them. That'll be an adventure for me sometime. All right, so basically, we got the just a little bit of sherry left in there. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the broth in there, and I got this cup of water because usually, when you make bouillon, you boil like a cup of water and put a 1 cube in then, and so I'm just gonna offset that a little bit with some water because this isn't beef soup. It's French onion, and then you want to crank your heat, bring it up to a boil, and then bring it right back down to a simmer.
As you can see here, we've got the dough out. This isn't fully thin. This is about the thickness you're going to want to get it to. It's about half as thin, maybe even a third as thin as that one.
And you see how long this is? It'll get a little bit longer. Just take the dull edge of your knife and
about foot-long pieces.
yeah, probably about foot-long pieces, depending on how long you want your noodles. And then run it through the spaghetti
The actual
section.
pasta cutter.
I'm gonna grab a pan so I can sear up my chicken thigh and leg, and we'll start the meals. Let me grab my chicken too. Here's my chicken.
It's a
Now,
beautiful looking bird once again.
Look at the size of this breast, and the whole chicken was $8.
Yeah, $8.
And this breast is completely natural. You can, if you look on the ingredients list when you buy boneless, skinless chicken breast as a package, you'll see it's with rib meat. So it's not all chicken. This is 100% completely natural. So let's take out our giant thighs and legs here. And you want to trim off any excess fat like this. Here's a bone here, but this is just so massive. I think that bone's all right because we'll be eating it with a fork and knife.
Oh,
All
it's a
right,
big
so
boy.
let me clean up my hands. And you want to season up your chicken pieces with a good amount of salt and pepper. Just real simple. And actually, you know what? I'll get some vegetable oil going for the sear.
Nice.
Just want a, not too much in there, just enough, maybe like 1/8 of an inch. And blast this, but don't get it too hot. That's when you start getting that yucky burn smell. And Josh, I know how anti-yucky burn smell you are.
Oh, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
So we'll crank this up. And you want to be careful too with your hot oil because it will spit at you. And that's not good for business.
No.
It's like a camel. You got a camel on your oven.
Yeah, that's
Good
bad
thing to do
news.
when you're seasoning with salt. It's kind of messy, but it's more evenly distributed. Is get high up off your chicken, otherwise you get the clumps.
No, don't want the clumps.
No clumps. And of course, Josh, we got to give a high iota pepper.
Oh, high iota pepper.
Let's do it. Okay, you want to get both sides real good. Pepper, salt, and gosh, I can't believe how big this bird is. It's kind of throwing me for a loop. And when you're going to put it in the pan, you want to do it skin side down, your presentation side down first, and that way it gets a nice golden brown on it. You don't want to burn it, but you want to make it nice and brown. That's where all the color is or the flavor is in the color. So let's see how your pasta's doing here.
It's coming out nicely.
I don't know if you noticed this here. Let me do a test. Let's see how you can tell when you got pasta out like this, the stuff you don't use. You should wrap it up in saran wrap, otherwise it gets kind of hard around the edges. And then it hurts when you do this.
It's bad for business, boy.
Oh. All right, so that's in the garbage. We got the stocks coming along great. Next segment, we'll sear up the chicken and make up the sauces.
What you got cooking? Yeah. What you got cooking? Yeah.
All right, and we're back. Chris, what do we got to do now?
Well, we fried up our chicken. Let me show you what kind of colors we're working on. These little chicken tenders here, we're actually going to make a nice garlic wine sauce to put over some pasta. And then underneath that, we got the big boys. And what we're doing with these is we're actually going to make a classic French dish. It's called... basically, it's chicken in the style of the farmer's wife, which means there's always tomatoes in the sauce. And it's a real good tomatoey. It's got white wine, apple cider vinegar, and garlic, ginger, and thyme.
All right.
So I'm going to start rocking that.
Okay. Well,
One more thing, actually. When after I got done sautéing the chicken, I didn't wipe out the pan. I just got as much oil out as I could. That's all flavor in there, so that adds to the sauce. So we'll go ahead and fire up the oven for that. And
all right.
so this is going to be the first. You want to throw in your garlic, your ginger, and a little bit of thyme, and then do them till they smell real good, till they smell pretty.
Right. And I've already from the pasta dough that we had before. I've already pre-made a few noodles.
There it is.
And here's the raw dough right here. I'm going to put it through the little pasta machine right now. Make some
Get
regular
this
noodles
pasta
out of there.
A little bit tossed. All right, and Josh, while you're doing that, I'm also going to start on the white wine and garlic sauce. What this is here is shallots and bigger chunks of garlic, so you get more flavor. And there's a lot of it. So we'll kind of stir that around. And like I said, just so they're translucent and you can smell them, and you'll know. You don't want to burn your garlic. That's a disgusting thing. Let me mix this up. So when you're cooking with wine, what you want to remember is you want to reduce it at least by half. That'll eliminate the alcohol, but it'll keep the great wine flavor.
All right.
And so what I did for this garlic sauce with the shallots in it, I poured a little bit of wine, and we're going to reduce it, and then we're going to go ahead and finish it off with the chicken stock. And I think mine's about ready.
Ready?
Now this technique here is actually called deglazing, and we're going to be deglazing with some apple cider vinegar. Can't beat this stuff. So just kind of want to pour it in to cover the bottom of the pan. All right, so we deglaze this now with apple cider vinegar, and let's fill the rest up with wine. Glop, 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 Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Glop, glop, glop. And what you're actually going to do is you're going to braise your chicken in here. And so it's going to make the chicken so tender, you can just, like a little pinch, and it's coming right off the bone.
Beautiful.
And we got a little bit of this tomato paste, maybe 2 spoonfuls worth there. Get in there. Get in the pan.
Get in the pan.
So that pasta doesn't take very long to cook, though, does it?
No, just about less than a minute. Just gotta. It's not like your run-of-the-mill boxed, dried-out pasta. This is gonna cook almost instantaneous.
Instantaneous. And we got a little bit of honey in there.
Little sweetener.
Oh yeah. Take the kick off of the garlic and the cider vinegar. All right, so we'll go ahead and reduce this wine down. And once it's reduced to my satisfaction, we'll add in, you like that one?
I like that one.
I can get satisfaction. I'm no Mick Jagger. We'll add in the chicken stock. And you just want to add in enough chicken stock when you're in the pan here, and you place your chicken leg and thigh in there. You want to add so that there's maybe this much chicken showing, just the very top of it, and then just medium heat and let that puppy braise.
I think I'm gonna add a little bit of the chicken stock up to that shallot and.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
bring
looking
that over here.
primo.
Beautiful.
Okay. Oh, that smells
Oh yeah, the combinations.
delicious. I'm gonna waft some my way. You want to waft?
Give me a little waft there.
There's some
oh,
waft
smells
action.
great.
Keep going on that because we're gonna reduce this. And if you want, you can even make this into a cream sauce. You take either some milk or some heavy cream, heat it up, but don't bring it to a boil. And once you've reduced this, add in the cream, stir in the cream. Low heat. Do not bring that back up to a boil. All right, that's looking tasty. All right.
Once again, you're just going to want to boil some water for the pasta and just put it in for about 30 seconds or so, or less, depending on how quick the pasta is going to cook.
Yeah, and that'll cook instantaneously.
Oh yeah.
All right, so when we get back, we're going to have the finished dishes, and we'll review exactly what we did.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's cook this stuff.
Yes, sir.
What you got cooking? Yeah. What you got cooking? Yeah.
And we're back here on What You Got Cooking. The final outcome here just looks magnificent.
It looks great, especially your work with the glass blowing.
Oh, I'm talented.
Yeah,
many facets.
I tell you what, this soup, you can see there's a little garlic in there,
Oh.
some onions. We got the garlic white sauce, and the sauce thickened up pretty nicely. Colorful peppers, and this chicken is just going to be a punch in the mouth when it comes to flavor.
And everything here completely homemade. Everything from scratch.
Yep. And you know, when I think of these dishes, it reminds me of Mr. T.
Mr. T.
I like to think of Mr. T, you know, as Clubber Lang in Rocky 3. Imagine him, the punches to the mouth, that's flavor.
Oh.
And that's what this food's going to do.
Coming at you.
This is going to be our Clubber Lang menu. That's what
Yes.
we've got. All right. Well, until next time, this is Chris Foster
Josh Witvoet.
signing off and asking what you got cooking.
What you got cooking? He's a hell of a guy, yeah. Chris Foster's alright. The recipe's a delight, yeah. When you got cooking.